Make it, do it, makes us harder, better, faster, stronger.
That don't kill me, can only make me stronger. I need you to hurry up now, cause I can't wait much longer. I know I got to be right now, cause I can't get much longer. Man, I've been waiting all night now, that's how long I've been on you.
I have got on the phone right now the number 1 super featherweight in the world, ranked by WBA, and she's ranked number 5 at super featherweight by the WBC. Bronx bombshell, perhaps, possibly even the real $1 million baby. And we're going to talk all about how she got that nickname here. I have got Maureen Shea. Maureen, how you doing tonight?
How are you?
I'm doing really well. I am so glad that we got the chance to talk to you tonight. I mean, we've been hearing this buzz. We've been hearing this buzz about Shea for several months now, and that they're until you hit it, absolutely at the absolute top by being the champion of the world. There was just this legend out here, at least in the Chicagoland area, this legend that there really is $1 million baby. That there was someone that was working along with Hillary Swank the entire time, and sort of took on that moniker. And here we have her on the phone. So welcome to Bolo Punch.
Thank you.
So let's go back. Before we talk about all the accolades and this awesome undefeated record of yours and all the accolades that you've gotten along with. Before we go up through your professional ranks, I want to start with little Maureen. Little Mo in her room, her little, stuffed animals on the bed and, probably Duran posters on the wall and whatnot. How in the world did it become that little Maureen was going to grow up to be a professional fighter?
Oh, well, like I was saying, it definitely wasn't, I was a tomboy growing up, so I was definitely, I'm a huge Yankee fan, actually. I've got the game on now. Don't mind that, I got to see the Yankees win this one. But,
Relax.
I was a tomboy growing up, but I didn't come across boxing until I saw Holyfield and the Holyfield-Tyson fight. And it was funny because it was the first time I ever had this run-in with this sport, that somebody goes to the extent of fighting somebody else's ear off to win a fight or to win an exchange or whatever Tyson did it. I couldn't believe it. But that was my first experience with the sport. And then later on in life, I found myself come to a crossroads and a lot of challenges, and I started doing things I shouldn't have been doing, at a young age, and hanging out, and I got kicked out of high school, and I found myself going down the hard road. And I found myself when I was 18 years old in an abusive relationship for 3 years. And a lot of things led me to that abusive relationship. A lot of the abuse came from myself. And then this individual I allowed to abuse me for 3 years until, by the grace of God, I decided enough's enough. And again, by the grace of God, I walked into a gym and I started to try to repair myself physically. First, he made me feel like, I'm ugly, and I was fat and this and that, so I thought I'll go into the gym and better myself for him. And I walked into the back of this gym, and lo and behold, there was a boxing ring. And I said, hey, I know a little bit about this sport. I mean, the only thing I really knew was with the Tyson Holyfield fight. And I said, but God, I have this anger inside of me, and I keep inverting it. I want to get it out. And I said, let me try hitting something. When you're angry, what do you want to do but hit something? So I picked up the gloves, and I started training back there with all men. A lot of prospects now, Elvira Mariki, David Telesco was back there. There was a bunch of guys back there, Luis Rosado, and I fell in love with the sport and out of love with that man, and it saved my life.
Well, what gym was it that you started at?
I started out at Omni Health and Fitness. It's in Pelham Manor, and my trainer, Willie Soto, so he's my first trainer.
Well, they sent us a check today, so that's okay that you named them. That's fine. That was a good plug there. No. So was there an amateur career to back up this stellar professional career?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. I mean, well, it wasn't a very long amateur career. I had 12 amateur bouts. I was ranked nationally, and I was 8-4, and 4 of my losses came to national champions. Well, and actually, my second fight that I ever fought in the amateurs was against the number 3 ranked girl in the world.
Wow, that's outstanding. From what I've read about you, there was some kind of celebrity that was at a bunch of your amateur fights. Can you tell us about that? And I mean, what was that like? What was that whole experience like? The whole movie deal?
Well, it was Hillary Swank. And I remember the first day that I met Hillary, she walked into the gym, and she was in Bruce Silverglade's office, who's the owner of Gleason's gym. And, when you come into Gleason's, you got a lot of fighters there. And when you walk into the gym, you have to understand you're walking into our world.
Talk about
and
legendary.
It's not an easy world. So as a regular person coming in, not as a boxer, you have to earn your respect in there, just as I had to earn my respect coming in there for the first time. Everybody does. So when Hillary was in the office, to me, I never really got starstruck or anything, and I was kind of like, okay, there's an actress here, she's probably training for a movie. We had Wesley Snipes in there, Jennifer Lopez, a lot of people. John Leguizamo was there, so it wasn't like a big thing for us. But Bruce introduced me to Hillary, and he said, oh, you possibly be working with Maureen, and we met, and she was very, very sweet, very like, hi, I'm Hillary Swank, not like, do you know who I am, or Hollywood at all. At all. She was very humble, and Hector, she began working with Hector Roca, who's my trainer, and then Hector paired me with her to spar, and we sparred 4 times a week for about 4 months. And it was a wonderful experience. She came to all my amateur bouts. I invited her, and I'm glad that she came because you got to experience a lot of where I first began. And, it was a wonderful experience for me.
Do you think Hillary would stand a chance in the ring against some real fighters?
Did she say, well, actually, Hillary was an athlete, or is an athlete. She was a swimmer, I believe, when she was younger. And, she definitely has extreme athletic ability. I mean, the girl worked so hard and dedicated so much to the sport. And it was her will to want to learn the sport. I believe that if she wanted to train for an amateur bout, she'd definitely do well.
I'm loving this. I'm loving that there was a parallel between, a fictional character and an actual fighter. I love when that stuff happens. I mean, Sylvester Stallone sat ringside at a Muhammad Ali fight when he fought Chuck Wepner. Went home that night and wrote Rocky. So and they just finished with their 18th movie. So I mean, when celebrities get involved, I mean, huge things tend to end up happening, and this is a success story in the exact same vein. So you start in that way, and everything I'm reading about you on the net is just positive. I don't see one drop of negative press anywhere. You're great to your fans. That you're not a bad-looking young lady. I mean, just on top of the world right now. And I mean, being ranked number 1 by WBA, number 5 by WBC, it's really breaking the mold of, well, this is what a female fighter is, and she's going to be the undercard on a bigger fight, card. You have people like Mia St. John that made her.
It's great. Yeah, it's really great to see, for me, I don't even like to look at myself as a female boxer, because in there I'm an athlete, and we all, boxing is blood, sweat, and tears. So I kind of just go in there and just, be me, and that's what people get, I am who I am. I'm the same person inside the ring as I am outside the ring, when it comes to that, and I think that the people and the fans see that.
And obviously your fans know that, and they can recognize that. I was talking about one of the parallels there with Mia St. John. She pretty much made her name by fighting on the undercards of Oscar De La Hoya fights. Both of them having Mexican heritage. Let's talk about your heritage for a second, because I think there's a parallel between you and I actually there. My mother is Irish and my father is Mexican. Is there anything in?
Really?
Yeah.
Well, there's not many of us. I thought we're all extinct.
No. I refer to myself as a leprechauno. So
there's not many of us out there.
Not many of us out there. Yeah.
Well, my mother is Mexican and my dad is Irish, and
you just
it's
flipped.
funny because I speak fluent Spanish. It was actually my first language.
Which
that my mother works for many different airlines. She was a ticket agent for many different airlines, and at the time they would give free passes to family members. So that provided me with the ability to be able to go to Mexico and study. And what I would do was, my first plane trip was when I was 9 months old, and it was to Guadalajara, Mexico, and that's where my family is. And I actually have more family in Mexico than I do here in New York.
Oh.
And I have many great memories in Mexico and studying and being able to speak fluent Spanish. I thank my mother for giving me that gift, because that was a gift, and I'm really thankful for that. It's just helped me in my life. And I remember when I was a kid, everybody saying, "You're so lucky you speak Spanish. Oh, you're not going to realize it now, but you'll see this is going to help you." And I was always like, "Oh, whatever. Look at these people, whatever." I hated speaking Spanish. I'm like, everybody speak Spanish. I'm like, no, because they love to see this red-headed, green-eyed little American girl all of a sudden take her American accent and change it to Spanish. So, but you know what? Now I realize how important it really is. It's really helped me a lot.
So eres una rojita que hablas español muy bien?
Sí, tú hablas español también. Podemos hablar español.
Sí, cómo no. Cómo no. Unfortunately, our leprechauno is only generic Mexican. He has a barcode because he doesn't speak the language. But it really is. It really is. And you really speak it well. You don't have an accent at all, an English accent when you speak your Spanish. That's very good.
Well, the thing with me is I speak, it's funny when I speak to different, well, you have to understand, Hector Roca, my trainer, who's also like a father to me, trains me in Spanish. Now, he's Panamanian. Now, my manager, Luigi Olchese, is Peruvian and Italian. And then I've got a lot of guys in the gym, or females in the gym, that are Puerto Rican. And, then I've got my grandmother, and my mother, who's Mexican, so I can speak every dialect.
Oh, I know. Yeah, I run into it with it myself at work with the different dialects, but it's kind of interesting. But it's really cool that you're able to speak both languages. That's really impressive. It gets you farther. It really does.
Oh, absolutely. It helps me to communicate more with my fans too, and I'm able to communicate with the Spanish media as well, and it's really great. It's really great because I feel even being Mexican, if I didn't speak Spanish, it would be harder to communicate with the fans and let them know how thankful I really am for all their support and how proud I am to be representing my Mexican heritage as well as my Irish.
Well, I'll tell you right now, if you had a brochure in front of you on the two nationalities to choose, if you're going to be a boxer, you could do a lot worse than Irish and Mexican.
Yeah.
I'll tell you that right now.
Yeah.
We're here just outside of Chicago, and they love their Mexican fighters and they love their Polish fighters. We don't have a whole lot of Irish fighting going on right here. Yet out in New York, I mean, you've got every nationality there is. Awesome. I want to know. Give me some names. Who are you interested in fighting here coming up? Because you just fought. Your career just keeps on going and going. Camille Casson, is that how we're pronouncing her name?
Yes.
Camille Casson. Is that's when you started, and your last fight, this TKO in the second round over Jessica Mose.
Yes.
Take us through that one, because that was just vicious how you stopped that one.
Well, I saw Jessica fight Cindy Serrano in March of this year, and I saw her. I said, wow, that girl, I said, that girl's tough. Cindy was throwing punches at her and she kept coming, and that girl would not go down. I said, wow, she's a tough fighter. Now, you have to understand that, Luigi, I never know who I'm fighting. I don't ask. I leave it. I'm a fighter. Whoever they put me in there with, I'll fight. So to me, it really doesn't matter. If they want me to review tape, I trust Hector to show me the tape. But for all of my 13 bouts, I never reviewed any tape or anything like that. And Hector and Luigi both knew I was fighting before the fight. I just went in there and did what we worked on in the gym, and everything, came together. Now, I found out, I didn't know I was fighting Jessica, but then I saw her at the weigh, and I said, oh, I know this girl. I've seen her fight. This is the first girl that I fought, but I actually saw her fight before. Now, when I went in there, it wasn't that I changed. I was going in there with the same game plan as I had before. I figured out who I was fighting. So I just put it all together, and I've been really working on my body shots in the gym, and Hector and I have really been developing my power now. We've worked on the boxing, the speed, and now, along with my strength and conditioning coach, Robert Ferguson, who's based out of Los Angeles, he works with Fernando Vargas and Sergio Mora, and he actually worked with Lucia Riker. Between him and Hector developing my power now, it really came out in that fight. And, I was actually, surprised by how hard I was hitting. What I found myself doing now is planting more. Instead of just throwing fast combinations, I'm settling more on my legs. Now, people that have seen me fight, I have very good legs, but I bounce a lot. So I always remember on SNY, Steve Farhood and Brian Adams would always say, Maureen would sit more on her punches. And I really appreciate the commentators because I listen to what they say. They see it from outside the ring. So with every fight, I always said, okay, I got to remember what they said because they're right. They see something. And Hector always told me as well. So when I went into this fight, I actually saw Brian before the fight, and it clicked in my head, oh, I want to sit more on my punches. I remember Brian saying it, and that's what I did. And it really worked.
So are you switching a bit? Are you going to be the female Arturo Gatti that can box but can also brawl when she needs to?
Arturo Gatti too, but Hector trained Arturo Gatti before.
That was not an accident that I asked that.
So I'm sure I have a little bit of Arturo flavor in my style, being that Hector did train him as well. But I mean to have the movement like Arturo would be great. And he was one of my favorite fighters, him and Fernando Vargas, when I was coming up in the game. So that would be great.
Well, I got to hear then. Since you brought up Vargas, do you think he can take apart Mayorga, or do you think Mayorga's going to tee off on it?
I think Vargas has heart and will. And he's got skill. But Mayorga is a dangerous fighter because he's so wild. And what I found myself personally when I get into the ring with females who aren't technically sound, I'd rather fight a technically sound fighter than a wild fighter, because with wild fighters you don't know where the punches are going to come from, and that's Mayorga.
That's
that
like
man
poker.
Cannot box.
It's like poker. All the bigwigs in Vegas, they don't want to play guys that came in off the street. They want to play guys that actually know how to play. It's the same thing. Awesome. I want to ask you this one question here, and I'll go ahead and let you go about your evening. But our topic, which is going to be in about a half an hour from now, involves Jose Sulaiman of the WBC actually stripping, giving the title to Sam Peter, stripping Oleg Moskaev of the WBC heavyweight crown, and giving the interim belt to Sam Peter. So now all of a sudden Jamil McCline has, out of nowhere, a title shot that he hasn't earned. So what are your thoughts on stripping champions for getting injured, which is essentially the only thing Moskaev did wrong? He got injured, and now that fight can't happen, so he got stripped. That does not happen in boxing, and now all of a sudden it is happening.
Yeah. Well, I mean, on the side of the fighter, I mean, it's very unfortunate and it seems very unfair. But to be honest, these sanctioning bodies like the WBC, the WBA, and the IBF, they've got a tough job too. And it's not that I'm sure it's not Jose Sulaiman, purposely said that's it, I'm stripping you. I'm sure there's guidelines and certain rules that they have to follow. That they have these guidelines, these rules for a reason. But unfortunately, when they're brought out to the public, it seems that it's completely and totally unfair. So I mean, personally, I really can't say it's fair, it's unfair. I understand there's rules and regulations, and these rules and regulations for these sanctioning bodies are set forth for a reason. And I'm sure down the line, it may seem unfair right now, but an issue may come up where something like this might have to happen, and it may seem. And we may be thankful that these sanctioning bodies have these rules and regulations for other reasons. So, I know that Peters is a great fighter, and I personally know Oleg Moskaev. I know his trainer, Victor Valley Jr. very well. I used to work with Victor when I first started out boxing, and I really would have liked to see Oleg get in there and do what he has to do and be able to perform and put on his skill on display. With Peters, but unfortunately, everything happens for a reason, and you never know. You never know why or when it'll happen again, or if it will ever happen again. But maybe it just wasn't the time and it wasn't the moment. But things like that I leave in God's hands. So we'll see what happens.
Well, that was a good answer, and that was a safe answer.
Thank you.
No. Yeah, you do have to fight for these sanctioning bodies. So that was a good, safe answer, and good girl. That was well done. I want to thank you for taking the time out of your busy evening, obviously,
no problem.
Go ahead and taking the time to talk with us and all our fans that knew that you were coming on, and who do you want to say hello to out there?
Well, everybody out there, my fans, I want to say thank you for having me on the show, and it was great, and just thanking everybody out for the continued support. And, they can check me out on my website at sheaboxing.com. And I also have my link to my MySpace on there if anybody wants to drop me a line and say hello. I like to stay in contact with my fans, whether they're in New York or around the world. I get some wonderful emails and some great inspirational, motivational emails from my fans. And, just I thank God for bringing them into my life, and thank you very much.
Absolutely. That's Shea Boxing, SHEA boxing.com.
Yeah.
Awesome. And you can well, she's one of our friends on our MySpace page as well, so you can hook up with her that way as well. Thank you very much, Moshe. We'll talk to you very soon.
Thank you.
All right,
Okay,
bye-bye.
take care.
Work it, make it, do it. Makes us harder, better, faster, stronger.
That don't kill me, can only make me stronger. I need you to hurry up now, cause I can't wait much longer. I know I got to be right now, cause I can't get much stronger. Man, I've been waiting all night now, that's how long I've been on you.